That is a soul singer who Simon described as having a voice like liquid gold.
Which coincidentally is also what Simon uses to wash his face. Liquid gold. It's Alice Fredenham.
When Alice Fredenham first stepped onto Britain's Got Talent stage, she captured the hearts of many. Her haunting rendition of My Funny Valentine left the judges speechless, and even the famously tough Simon Cowell called her audition one of the best he had ever seen. But then, just as quickly as she captured the spotlight, she seemed to vanish from it. So where exactly did Alice Fredenham go? What really happened to the singer? Join us as we uncover the mysterious journey of one of Britain's Got Talent's most memorable stars, Alice Fredenham's journey to stardom. Alice Fredenham began her journey like many people with a big dream, hoping her voice could carry her into the spotlight. There was something soft and deeply emotional about her, something that made people stop and listen. She had a quiet charm that touched hearts across the world. But just as quickly as she captured everyone's attention, she disappeared from view, leaving fans wondering what had happened. Many remember Alice for her unforgettable audition on Britain's Got Talent, where she was described as having a voice like liquid gold.
Your voice is like liquid gold.
But that wasn't the first time she stepped into the world of television talent shows. Back in the year 2013, at the age of 28, Alice first appeared on The Voice UK. She walked onto the stage looking calm on the outside, with her eyeliner perfectly done and a shy smile. But underneath, she was a bundle of nerves. She sang the classic jazz song, "The Lady is a Tramp," hoping to impress the judges and start her journey to stardom. But to her surprise and heartbreak, not one judge turned their chair. The silence that followed was painful, the kind that makes your stomach drop and your confidence crumble. Alice left the stage that day feeling crushed, with only the sound of rejection echoing in her mind. But instead of giving up, that painful moment lit a small fire inside her. She wasn't ready to quit just yet. Later that same year, she made a bold decision. She auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. This time, she kept it a secret. She didn't tell her parents. She didn't tell her friends. Not even her boyfriend knew. It was her private mission, a quiet hope that maybe, just maybe, things would turn out differently. Yet there was one major challenge standing in her way: her fear of performing in front of people. Alice didn't just get nervous like most performers. Her stage fright was intense. Her hands would shake. Her voice would lock up. Her mind would tell her she wasn't good enough, even though deep down she had something truly special. Then came the night that changed everything. When she walked onto the BGT stage and began singing My Funny Valentine, something magical happened. The nerves melted away. The audience sat in stunned silence, and the judges looked at her as if they were seeing something rare and beautiful. Her voice was soft but powerful, smooth but filled with emotion. Even Simon Cowell, known for his sharp critiques and tough attitude, leaned in and watched her closely. And when she finished, he said something unforgettable. He called her voice liquid gold. That single performance changed everything. Overnight, the video of her audition spread across the internet like wildfire. Millions of people watched it. They didn't just hear her voice, they felt it. It was like listening to a secret being whispered into the heart. Fans everywhere believed she had what it took to win the whole show. But fame can be a heavy weight to carry. When Alice returned for the semi-finals, everything was different. The pressure was much greater. Everyone expected her to deliver something just as magical, if not more. But behind the scenes, things were going wrong. She had practiced one song, but suddenly, producers asked her to sing something else at the last minute. That unexpected change completely threw her off balance. Her old fear came crashing back. On stage, she looked nervous again, Though her voice still had beauty,
For me, it's like, you're not good enough. That's where I think most of the like nervousness comes from, is that
the sparkle from her first performance wasn't there. The magic felt dimmed. And in the end, the judges didn't send her through. Just like that, the girl with the golden voice was out of the spotlight. Fans were heartbroken. So many people had fallen in love with her unique sound and gentle presence. But even though she lost the competition, many believed this was only the beginning of her music career. People waited for announcements, an album, a tour, interviews, anything. But those never came. What really happened to Alice? Did she vanish from the spotlight? Let's find out. Fredenham's disappearance. After Alice Fredenham's unforgettable audition on Britain's Got Talent, many people believed she was about to become the next big star. The way she sang with such emotion and grace left both the judges and the audience completely spellbound. For a brief moment, it truly felt like her life was about to change forever. And behind the scenes, things seemed to be moving in that direction too. Big names in the music industry had taken notice. Not long after her audition aired, there were reports that Sony Music had offered Alice a demo deal. This wasn't a full recording contract, but it was a major opportunity. One that many Britain's Got Talent contestants never get. The goal was to see if she could record a full album and become a successful commercial artist. Alice went into the studio and began recording. But as quickly as the door had opened, it started to close again. The album never got finished. Sony chose not to move forward with the project. There was no official explanation. But insiders hinted that her music didn't quite match what the label wanted at the time. Alice had a unique, old-fashioned jazz voice, beautiful and soulful, but not the upbeat pop sound that the label was chasing. She didn't fit the mold of the modern music industry, and because of that, the deal quietly faded away. For Alice, this wasn't just a professional disappointment. It hit her on a deeply personal level. From the very beginning, she had been nervous about performing in public and stepping into the spotlight. Her journey on Britain's Got Talent had been emotionally intense. So when the one chance she had to build a real career slipped away, it brought back all the hurt from her earlier loss in the semifinals of the show. Still, she didn't give up right away. Over the next year, Alice continued making music on her own, trying to keep her dream alive. But without the backing of a major label or the constant buzz from television, the excitement began to fade. Slowly, she started pulling back from the public eye. Her official website stopped getting updates and eventually disappeared. Her social media pages, once filled with messages to fans, went silent. And most puzzling of all, there was no goodbye message, no official statement, no announcement about taking a break or retiring. She simply vanished. Fans were left confused and concerned. What had happened to the woman whose voice once brought millions to tears? As it turned out, there was more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. In interviews she gave after the show, Alice talked honestly about the anxiety she felt before performing. She described suffering from extreme stage fright, so intense that she would get panic attacks that made her physically sick before singing in front of people. Many admired her bravery in opening up about this, but it also became clear that the constant stress and pressure of a music career were taking a heavy toll on her. The spotlight, the demands of the industry, and the need to always be online and visible were just too much. The music business had started to shift toward a world of social media, constant updates and self-promotion, things that didn't come naturally to Alice. Even though she had a loyal fan base and the ability to connect with people through her voice, like few others could, the business side of things felt impossible for her to manage. By the year 2016, Alice had almost completely disappeared from the internet. Her album was still available for sale, but there were no new songs, no shows, and no news. For those who had followed her journey from the very beginning, from the moment she first stepped nervously onto the Britain's Got Talent stage, her quiet disappearance was heartbreaking. people weren't sure if she had taken a break or left the music world for good. But looking back, it seems likely that mental health played a bigger role in her withdrawal than most people realized. Alice never spoke openly about her condition, but the signs were familiar. Many artists who are suddenly thrust into the spotlight without proper support feel overwhelmed by the pressure, the criticism, and the fear of failure. When rejection is added to that mix, it can lead to exhaustion, anxiety, and a deep loss of creative motivation. And so, just like that, Alice Fredenham, the singer who once made an entire audience hold its breath with a single note, fell silent. Her story seemed to end not with a bang, but with a quiet fade into the background. For years, it looked like that was it, but then something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, a new video appeared online. It wasn't a huge television comeback or a glitzy performance on a big stage, but it was her. That same haunting, beautiful voice returned. And in that moment, fans realized something important. Alice Fredenham might have stepped away from the spotlight, but she hadn't turned her back on music entirely. Her story, it seemed, wasn't over after all. But what turned things around? And how did she find the courage to return? Let's take a closer look. Alice Fredenham comeback. After disappearing from the public eye for several years following her unforgettable appearance on Britain's Got Talent, Alice Fredenham eventually resurfaced. But not with the big splash many had expected. This time, there were no dramatic TV comebacks, no viral moments, and no red carpets. Instead, Alice returned quietly, choosing a path that was far more personal and far less public. Around the year 2014, she began singing again, but only now and then, and only at small, low-key events. These included charity concerts and local music nights, the kind of gatherings where the lights are dim, the crowds are small, and the pressure is low. There were no flashy posters or big promotions. In fact, many of these shows were only announced through simple flyers, local event listings, or by word of mouth. It was a world away from the massive television stage where she had once moved millions to tears. But this was intentional. For Alice, these quieter settings allowed her to sing without the heavy emotional stress that came with being in the national spotlight. At the same time, she began exploring how to make music on her own terms. After her short-lived deal with Sony Music didn't lead anywhere, she had no record label behind her, so she took matters into her own hands. In early 2015, Alice launched a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter.
Crowdfunding
Yes,
sources,
absolutely.
one of the pioneers. I think so the last time you raised money was 2014.
Her goal was to raise £30,000 to record her very first album independently. Many thought this was a brave step, but also a risky one. Still, the response was surprising. Not only did she meet her goal, she surpassed it, raising over £40,000 by the end of the campaign. This success showed something powerful. Even though she hadn't been in the spotlight for a while, a loyal group of fans still believed in her. These weren't just casual listeners. They were deeply invested in her journey. People who remembered her from her haunting audition on Britain's Got Talent and had been quietly cheering her on ever since. For an artist with almost no online presence and no major marketing machine behind her, that kind of fan support was rare and special. The result of that campaign was Under the Covers, an album made up of classic jazz and soul songs. But what made the album stand out wasn't just the song selection, it was the honesty behind it. Alice didn't try to reinvent herself or chase musical trends. She stuck to what she knew and what her fans loved about her, a soft, emotional voice with a timeless style. Critics and listeners who found the album praised its quiet beauty. They spoke highly of her clear vocals and the gentle way she delivered each song. Unlike many reality show contestants who lose their original spark after leaving the stage, Alice had stayed true to herself. However, even though Under the Covers was musically strong, it didn't reach many people. Without a record label or a marketing team, There was no big push to get the album into stores, onto radio, or in front of new audiences. It was available online and in physical CDs, but that was about it. No interviews, no music videos, no media appearances. And as a result, the album mostly stayed within her small fan base and didn't make much noise outside of it. In a world driven by algorithms, social media campaigns, and constant promotion, the album came and went quietly. After the release, fans hoped this would be the beginning of something more. A second chapter in her music career. They waited for new songs, updates, maybe even live performances or tour announcements. But none of that came. Alice did a few more small shows here and there, but then, once again, she began to fade from view. There were no statements, no farewell posts, just silence. Her social media accounts went quiet. Her official website, which had been active during the album campaign, was eventually taken down. Fans who tried to reach out or ask questions got no replies. People began to wonder what had happened. Some thought maybe she had decided to focus on her personal life. Others guessed that trying to build a music career alone, without financial support or a team, had simply become too hard. Some pointed to the pressure and anxiety that often come with performing, especially for someone like Alice, who had always seemed more sensitive and private than most. The music industry, with all its noise and commercial demands, isn't an easy place for artists who don't fit the mold. By the year 2016, it became clear that her quiet return had come to an end. There were no new albums on the horizon, no performances on the calendar, and once again, Alice Fredenham disappeared into silence. Years passed, and fans heard nothing more. But in today's digital world, complete disappearance is rare. And even in silence, her voice still lingers in the memories of those who were touched by it. Where has Alice Fredenham gone? Did she quietly leave the music world behind? Or is her story still unfolding? Let's find out. Alice Fredenham. Whereabout? After releasing her independent album Under the Covers, Alice Fredenham quietly faded from the spotlight. She didn't make a big announcement or dramatic exit. She simply stepped back and let the noise die down. For years afterward, only bits and pieces of her career remained online. Her soulful performances on Britain's Got Talent, a few heartfelt interviews, and her album were still floating around the internet. By the year 2023, the silence surrounding her began to stir curiosity again. People started wondering, where did Alice go? What had become of her? Even the Heart's Advertiser, a local newspaper that had followed her career in the past, tried to get in touch with her for an update. But their emails and messages went unanswered. There were no managers or agents speaking on her behalf. The article that followed quietly revealed what fans had long suspected. No one, not even local journalists, could reach her. But that same year, a small clue emerged. Cherry Red Records, the independent label that had helped release her album, was contacted for comment, and they finally confirmed what many had begun to fear. Alice has retired from the music industry and wishes to retain her privacy, they said. There was no detailed explanation, no talk of future projects, just a calm, clear message. Alice had chosen to step away, for good. For longtime fans who had followed her journey since that unforgettable Britain's Got Talent audition in 2013, it felt like the closing of a chapter. Over the years, there had been glimmers of hope. Alice had released her album on her own, and even made a few low-key appearances at charity concerts and small shows. Those moments had kept the dream alive, that maybe one day, on her own terms, she would come back. But with the label's statement, that dream was gently laid to rest. The word "retired" made it real. Since then, there have been no new updates, no new music, no public sightings. Alice Fredenham's name has quietly slipped away from the music industry. She hasn't been seen at events or even small community performances. Her online presence has vanished. There's no website, no social media, no active fan club. Searching for her today mostly brings up old performances, tribute pages, and fan discussions. Her breathtaking audition clip from Britain's Got Talent remains one of the most watched in the show's history, and it's clear that people still remember the magic she brought to the stage. And even though she's no longer recording or performing, interest in Alice hasn't faded. On fan forums and in YouTube comment sections, people still ask about her. Some say her voice helped them through tough times. Others share how much they wish she would record just one more song, even if it's from her living room. Her story has quietly lingered in the hearts of many. One particular story, though never confirmed, has made the rounds online. A fan supposedly sent Alice a bouquet of flowers as a thank you for her music. In return, they claim to have received a handwritten note from Alice herself. The note was simple but heartfelt. If the story is true, it's a small but powerful sign that she's still out there somewhere, living a quiet life, but still feeling a connection to the people who loved her voice. Will she ever return to music? No one knows. There's been no sign of a comeback, no announcement, no hint of new material. And considering the anxiety and pressure she has spoken about in the past, it's possible that stepping away was about protecting her mental and emotional health, not just leaving the industry. But fans continue to hope, because music has a strange kind of magic. It lasts. One performance, one song, one voice can leave a permanent mark. And for many, Alice Fredenham was one of those rare artists who sang, not just with talent, but with truth and soul. Even if she never sings for the world again, her voice lives on, preserved in digital clips, echoing in people's memories, and cherished in the quiet hearts of those who were moved by it. So, who is Alice Fredenham? What's her net worth, and how is her personal life? Let's take a closer look. Alice Fredenham. Alice Fredenham is a well-known British singer who became famous after performing My Funny Valentine on Britain's Got Talent. Her soft voice and shy charm instantly won the hearts of the judges and the audience. Simon Cowell even called her voice liquid gold. As of 2025, her estimated net worth is around $250,000. Alice's real name is Amy Olive Reyes. She was born in 1985 in Harpenden, Hertfordshire, England. Although her exact birth date isn't confirmed, she is a British citizen. Alice began singing at a young age and often performed at weddings and small events. In 2013, when she was 28 years old, she auditioned for Britain's Got Talent.
What's your name?
Alice Fredenham.
And how old are you, Alice?
I'm 28.
28, and you're from where?
Hertfordshire.
Do you have a day job?
I'm a beauty therapist.
With her heartfelt version of My Funny Valentine, the judges were deeply impressed, especially Simon Cowell. And her audition video went viral, getting over 38 million views on YouTube. Alice went to St. Albans Girls' School from 1997 to 2001. She took part in many music activities while she was there. Later, she left school to focus fully on her music instead of going to college or university. Alice was once married to Leonardo Reyes. Currently, she is in a relationship with Joe Lenzi, the lead singer of the creative music duo Sigma. She feels happy in this relationship and often says she's proud of him. Joe has helped boost her confidence, and there may even be chances for them to work together on music in the future. Before she became known as a singer, Alice worked as a beauty therapist. She decided to audition for the 7th season of Britain's Got Talent, and her performance touched many people. She reached the semi-finals. She also tried out for The Voice, but she wasn't selected. Still, videos of her jazz and blues performances have gathered millions of views on YouTube. In 2017, Alice released her first album, Under the Covers, after raising $4,000 through the crowdfunding site Indiegogo. The album features songs like Bluebird, My Funny Valentine, Wishing on a Star, and Coconut Grove. Her style is known for bringing old classic songs back to life with her unique voice. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think Alice might return to the spotlight someday? Share your opinion with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.